Do you remember the other day I had you calculate that? And some of you have a little bit of trouble. Some of you still, remember I told you that if you have, like, if your B is, say, -5, and you do -5 squared minus, and do your minus 4AC, that is not positive 25. And if you're getting the right answers, you're typing positive 25, but your work doesn't match your answer. What did I say to get around that? Just put a 25 there. So I'm not even sure I'm going to make you do that on quiz. If I don't, I'm being awful nice to you. But I think I'm going to put, just because we don't have time to do a quiz every day, I think I'm going to put those together. And I need to go get my calculator. So let me get that. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is pull up the program. It's been a while since we've done programs. Now this one sometimes is hard to get out of, so second quit clear will usually get you out of a program. We've only got 2 programs. But the first one we're going to do is n squared minus 5n minus 24 equals 0. Now, to do 31, you still got to know the quadratic formula for me, because most teachers don't want rounded answers. Sometimes we have to, we don't always, and some of these are going to be, we're going to actually in our notes, we're going to do one that's rational answers, we're going to do one irrational, and we're going to do one imaginary. Oh, actually we did 4 problems, but then we also, yeah, anyway. A is 1. I'm rambling too much. B is -5, and C is -24. That's optional for your classwork, but I like to do it in the notes. So n equals, now this is what you're going to do for me. The opposite of -5 is +5, plus or minus. Now here's where your life is going to be easier. You're going to put square root right there and leave it, not going to write anything under it, and then we're going to go ahead. And I'm okay, if you're okay, go ahead and do 2 times 1. So it's going to be 2 times A, which is going to be 2. Now, what I made you do the other day, and if you haven't done 30, but I think all of you have, if you've done 30, then, see, that's why I fussed at them yesterday, because they haven't done 30, and I said, don't you use this quadratic program to do 30. I want you to do it both ways. So I guess I won't tell them that I'm not going to give them a quiz over it. So, you remember how to open your program? Go to Program. And mine's number 5. You probably only have 2. They're in alphabetical order. I can hit the number 5, or I can, where if you just want to arrow to it, but number 5, and I gave it to you archived. I did archive Sydney's because hers won't open it. One of them yesterday sat here the whole time and never told me it was archived. So, and then you hit enter, remember, to make it run. What is it asking you for? Specifically, it's asking you for A. And what is A? 1. And what's B? -5. Now remember, -5 minus 5 are the same, but the calculator doesn't know that. Be careful with your minuses and your negatives. Enter. And then what's C? -24. Enter. Wow, it did all the work for us. It tells you the discriminant is 121. We can put that right there. And we can go ahead and put the answers 8 or -3. Now, that's all I expect in this lesson. Now, they're not all going to be that easy, because the ones that are nice, rational. Now, without even doing the 8, -3, I knew this was going to be pretty answers, because is 121 a perfect square? Yeah, if that's a 36 or a 49 or a 100 or a 4, it's going to be nice rational numbers. And you can actually factor. You can actually use this program to factor. And I'm going to teach you that too, which is nice if your teacher lets you use your graphing calculator. So again, that's that. When you go to college, ask around. Are they going to let me use a calculator? Are they going to let me use my graphing calculator? Try to get the ones that will let you do that. That's it. I mean, that's what I want on one that easy. They're not all that easy. But anyway, number 2, m squared minus 5m minus 8 equals -5. Now, you better put a star like this, because I don't think you've done these, and we never did a quiz on it. I may regret not doing a factor quiz. We may do one, when we do it with a program, I don't know. I got to think about that one. I just had to decide what I want to do with that. It's kind of doing doing it backwards, but I think we might do it that way. Now, what's the problem before we start working it? You have to have a 0 over here. I think we did some of those in 27 before Christmas. I think we did one in the notes. Here's one. It had a 60 and then a 4, and we had to move the 4 to get it in standard form. So I've got to move that 5 over here. And there's a couple of these in your classwork, so be careful. And I get m squared minus 5m minus 3 equals 0. You can only use the quadratic formula when it's equal 0. And these are in order. So A is 1, B is -5, and C is -3. Now, so I'm going to go ahead. Now, yesterday we actually typed it in, and then we would write it. But I kind of think I like writing it better. So I'm going to say m equals opposite B plus or minus square root over 2 times 1. Wow, it almost looks the same. So hit enter. I guess I must have already hit enter. It spirals. So to get out of it, you have to do second quit, and then I think you have to hit clear. It's kind of hard to get out of it, keep cycling through. So I'm going to do 1, -5. What's the other one? -3. Okay, the discriminant is 37. Now, tell me what's going on right here. Is the square root of 37 a nice, pretty number? I guess that's the best way to say it. It's not, so it's irrational. It fits over here with these, like square root of 7 and square root of 21. So it's irrational answer. Very, very, very rarely do we ever do the decimals. Now, we'll use those for something else. When we're graphing, we use that. But for right now, pretty much the discriminant has given you what you want. But that's what these are. And these won't, they're not fractions because you can't write irrational numbers as fractions. Because if they're rational, they're going to give them to you as integers. I should have given you one of these that had fractions in it. I didn't, but I think you have some in classwork. So that right there tells me it's irrational. They're not imaginary because it's not negative. You'll see what happens when it's imaginary. So I'm okay with these two answers, but I like separating them if they need to reduce. So I'm going to put or on that one because it is in lowest terms. So I'm happy so far. It's pretty easy. Now, I really don't want you to use the program on your lesson 30. If you have corrections,